Hello, hello. All right, let's get started. I am so excited to do this series. It is called Emotional Mastery. And as a coach, as a mom, as a course creator, as an educator, trainer, it is so important that the work that we do this year, going into the next 3, 5, even 7 to 10 years, that we start the work. Women, you have to start the work on yourself, okay? So this particular video is dedicated to emotional mastery, okay? So get your journals, get a notebook, tag a friend in the comments, or send this video to 2 to 3 people that you know would appreciate this, because this is going to be study. This is going to be opening up portals within you to be able to receive this information, put things into practice. And I want to start off with a Facebook post that I wrote today, actually. And I just stated that I'm a single mom that's also a stay-at-home mom. I sat myself down. I built a machine that's bigger than coaching courses and a growing membership and opportunities. I build relationships. I create my own security. I told me to fire my job and to stay home with my own child. Now I am providing and protecting my nurturing spirit. I am my own muse, my own dream girl. I am a creative. I am an alchemist. And it takes a strong vision, a prayer life. I'm even going to throw in there meditation, breath work, and having the right emotional tools and staying focused. What I want to talk to you about in this emotional mastery series here on my YouTube channel, I'm going to first talk about how to create an emotional contingency plan. And this particular piece was definitely something that I have worked with regarding my clients, kind of like a contingency piece where when things happen in our life, many times we act straight off of emotion. We go off, we scream, we yell, we raise our voices. We really don't think about things and taking a pause, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. But what is an emotional contingency plan? Okay. It is a proactive approach. Many women are very reactive. Okay. We wait until stuff happens to us after we've seen signs, after we've seen the red flags, we have seen burgundy flags. Like, we've seen all the flags, okay, except for the green ones, to tell us to get out, to tell us to stop, or to tell us this is not right for you, right? Or we say, or there's an intuitive nudge for us to go for it, but then our sabotage just takes over, right? Our imposter syndrome comes over us. But we tend to do things that we feel keeps us safe, but it actually spirals us backwards. And we got to get out of that, right? So when it comes down to emotions, the physiological and the psychological responses to external stimuli, we've got to have a proactive approach to how we manage emotions during challenging situations, even with our clients, even with an audience, the audience that we're actually trying to build. We've got to become much more stabilized, okay? So let's talk about like what kind of like conflict can actually come from this piece, right? Number one, conflict with a loved one. It could be a relationship that you're in, romantic relationship, family member, but it's something that that you're going back and forth with someone with that you really love, that's really close to you. Receiving criticism is the next thing. And it's criticism that's not really constructive. Criticism, when you're trying to build something, like build a business, or you're trying to create something, many times, like when people say, oh, but can you take feedback? And it's like, it's from a person that really haven't built anything. It's from someone that really doesn't have a spiritual compass to see you higher. So this person is really coming off of how they feel about you, not necessarily constructively giving you feedback that you could probably think about to improve on, that is actually going to make you better. It's all from ego. It's all from inner conflict with you, more so expanding, right? Because it's very interesting how many of us have come across people and they're like, oh, well, those colors are cute, but I think somebody else has it too. Or can I just give you some feedback? Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not like this. I don't even like that. But then you look at them and you're like, you haven't done anything. You don't even have experience in this stuff, right? Even if they're not progressing in their own life, you have to be very careful with receiving information from people that really haven't done anything, and then even opening the dialogue. And sometimes it can come from your family, it can come from close friends. So just be mindful that this can also stir your emotions. And then number three, experiencing failure or extreme setbacks. Like it could be a breakup, it could be someone who passed away, someone who, maybe even a client that made a post or subliminal post about you. All those things can happen, right? So we need some emotional management tools to help us with these pieces. And one of the things I really want to stress is that even now, with all of these things going on, we're going through a completely different time in our era where the world is changing, right? Polar shifts. We got all kinds of things going on. All kinds of things. But one of the things I will say is that with all these things going on, a lot of high emotions are happening. And that's not coming from a positive space. So we have to be very conscientious of how we spend our energy online and how we allow things to trigger our emotions. One of the things we are, especially the Contrarian Collective, which is my membership, we actually start at the time of this recording, February 6th. And we are going to be talking a lot about the spiritual health and how to keep our emotions at bay, how to tap into our intuitive space within us, how to think new thoughts, how to create new thoughts, and be able to repetitively do that. And it's going to be in this amazing community. This is our second cohort. The first cohort was so amazing. So if you're interested in it, definitely look in the description below this video. So let's keep going. When it comes down to emotional mastery, right? So emotional mastery is very important. So it's about regulating emotions, obviously, right? So we want to make sure that we are regulating. We're kind of in this space where we can reason with ourselves, and also leveraging our emotions and using them as tools for growth. And I'm going to talk about, how you can do that. And then decision making and spiritual alignment. Okay. This is how you master your emotions. You come from a space of understanding who you are. And we're going to talk about that too. But a lot of people don't realize that your emotions do affect the way that you make decisions, and it affects your faith. Okay. Emotion regulation. Let's talk about like the exact definition of that. So the ability to manage and of course respond to our emotions in a very healthy way. So anything that we choose to do, we do it with intention, and that we focus on doing it with excitement and joy and not from fear. So self-awareness is very key here. Okay. This is a teachable moment. Self-awareness is key. You have to be aware of yourself, which means that doing less blaming and more quick reflection. I don't want you to reflect too long, because sometimes we'll reflect ourselves right into poverty. You got to be careful. Reflection for way too long, you'll start to loop backwards, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're actually trying to move forward. So once you become more self-aware of who you are and how your emotions are moving through your body, you need to take a pause. If you feel triggered, if someone has kind of initiated some kind of conflict with you, or you hear something or some bad news, or you know of something that is on the way, even if it's quote unquote natural disasters or something happened, weather stuff, you'll be able to think. You'll be able to think. So you need to pause, take a pause, and become emotionally resilient. So bounce back from all of that emotional stress and intuitively navigate through these changes and the challenges of this time. Okay. So we have we have to get out of being so fixed minded that we don't allow ourselves to transition into more of a growth mindset. Now, fixed mindset, sometimes we go back and forth about, should I do this and should I learn that? Like right now, everybody needs to be creative, right? If you are saying like, oh, I need to go ahead and start my YouTube channel, or I really need to go ahead and start this, that, and the third, why can't you just do it? We need to have, and I'm going to type this in here. Please have more today energy. Like, you've got to start making some decisions in your business, in your creativity, in your life that really, really focuses more on today. You don't have you don't have 150 years. You need to focus more so on creating today. Someone said this on TikTok. And see, that's another thing too. Social media is shifting and all of that as well. But someone said this on TikTok and said that when you look at the eternity portion of our soul's existence and evolution throughout quote unquote time, because really there's no time in the eternal, right? So time is just really anchored here in this realm. But we're really only on earth for a couple of seconds compared to our existence in the universe or in eternity. Like compared to eternity, you're only here on this planet for just a couple of seconds. Compare, like if you put some things into context. So why not do it today? Why not just do it today, right? So how do we start walking in that emotional steadiness? Having that stability within our emotions. So I want you to start making decisions from a place of calm rather than reacting to everything that somebody says to you. Oh, I'm about to crash out. Why are you about to crash? Like, calm down. Oh, this person said no to me. Why? Okay, so first of all, calm down. She didn't say no to you as a person. She probably said no to your offer, which I'm pretty sure that's what happened. You see what I'm saying? So why do we take things super personal? You got to understand that it's not always about you. A lot of people respond or they tend to come from a place of trauma, and many of them don't have the capacity to even look at themselves and take reflection of how they come off. So some people are just hurt. Hurt people, honey. Jealous people just come from a place of jealousy. They are used to being, first. They're used to having all these goals and dreams and telling everybody about it. But then you start living out your dream, you start living out your purpose. And then all of a sudden it's like, why do you get to have all these things and I'm still? It's jealousy, because some people are just used to passing other people. And now you are doing the work, you are creating space for yourself. And now they have something to say about it. I want you to come from a place of calm. Okay. So don't react. Just understand that responding in a way where you are not regretting. And I always tell people, like, I would rather you say nothing than to say something and it's an immediate regret. So just be very conscientious of how you respond to people. Number two, provide yourself with 5 to 10 minutes of deep breathing. Now you're probably saying, I don't have time for that. Well, you have time to get mad. So you definitely got time to do some deep breathing. So you just replace that. You're allowed to be mad. Now let me make sure I'm being very crystal clear. You are allowed to be upset. You are allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be, joyful and playful. You have every right to be those things. But when it comes down to things that trigger you, things that bring you down, things that keep you in a space of, when is it going to be here and frustration, I want you to start replacing that. And that's, again, it comes with self-awareness, that to know when those things happen in your body, that you can start to call upon yourself and say, okay, wait a minute, let me just come from a place of calm. Let me take this time to do some 5 to 10 minutes of breathing deeply and doing a little bit of breath work. And then last but not least, journaling. Okay. Now, this is probably one of my favorite parts. I'm not a huge fan of journaling all day because some people journal all day. You just need to journal enough to be able to write down your thoughts and then go into flow. What do I mean by that? If you've ever heard of the book called The Artist's Way, which is also what we're going to talk about in the Contrarian Collective, which is my membership, what we are going to talk about is how to capture the front end of your thoughts, which is always your conscious self. But once you get into a place where you're writing, because writing is a spiritual practice, did you know that? Because it's the best example and quick example of manifestation. When you're writing words, your hand is following the brain's pattern. So you are looking at your hand and it's coordinated, and there are habits that have been formed to be able to write out what you are thinking. Your brain and your body is a machine. Like, God was not playing when He created us, okay? So journaling really helps us with pent up emotions. And I don't think y'all realize how powerful writing is. I know we have technology, which is fine, but there is something beautiful about pen and paper. There's something beautiful about that. And I think it's very interesting that the world, and I'm all about progression, I'm all about innovation. I think it's very important we are innovative, but some things cannot completely go digital. Like, you've got to be able to not only learn how to write, but you got to learn how to write in a way where you are expressing your soul. And writing is so clarity feeling, okay? And I'm totally making up a phrase there. But those pent up emotions will then turn into direction. So, journal prompts. So if you are kind of like, I don't even know what to say, Jay. When you have a triggering experience or a conflict or something that has happened to you where it just doesn't put you in the right headspace, and you respond negatively to the situation, I want you to get some time and sit down, either in the morning or at night before bed. And I want you to really start thinking about what triggered this emotion. Was it the person that they elevated their voice? Was it a person that lacked empathy that you felt? Because sometimes people will respond because they feel like you don't know what I'm going through. So you are able to come from a place of what really frustrated me about what this person said to me. Is it the person or is it what they said? And is it both, right? And then number two, how can I use this experience, this conflict, this back and forth that I just had with this person to grow and learn how to respond differently next time if someone comes to me with the same energy? Okay. I hope that this particular training really helped you to kind of navigate how to create your own emotional toolkit. It's very important that women learn how to take care of themselves. And the reason why it is so important is because we're going into an age where a lot of women will find themselves in self-sustainable situations. I know that every woman wants to be the exception to the rule, to be selected by men, and there's nothing wrong with love. There's nothing wrong with marriage, relationships, but I want you to also have the discernment when it comes to these pieces, because a lot of groups, a lot of people rely on you to be emotionally unregulated. So be very mindful of that. If this particular video spoke to your soul, please feel free to look in my description box below. Feel free to subscribe, because we are going to be talking about these things and more, and going 3 layers deep in the Contrarian Collective, which is my 4-month membership. And we are exploring how this goes, because we actually want to probably extend it. This is my second cohort, and we talk about things about self-mastery, emotional intelligence. We talk about the fourth industrial revolution. We talk about spirituality, the laws, universal principles and universal laws. So if this is something that interests you and you're kind of destructured from a lot of the systems, how we do business, and then also deconstructing or decolonizing Christianity, definitely feel free to join the Contrarian. It is absolutely a wonderful group. It's a wonderful membership. We have a lot of fun. And then also too, you're surrounded by like-minded women. Absolutely love it. Okay. So let me know in the comment section, how do you feel about this particular video? And I also want you to put in the comments, when was the last time you became so self-aware about a certain situation, of how you should have responded to external conflict? And then tell me in the comments, what did you do to shift the narrative to get back to a place where you are regulating your emotions? I would love to know. And again, this is Coach J. Until next time, we got this, and we're going on.